Got this damn George Floyd trial that's been going on, and I've been keeping track of it, but it's nothing new under the sun what's going on, right? So I have been keeping an eye on it, but just listening to all the testimonies and doing that day one and day two recap of it, pretty much what I know, what most of my people know, what we expect. But it was some interesting things that came out, so I thought that I'm going to speak on it today. It says Eric Nelson played a clip to the court from one of the officer's body worn cameras at the scene last May 25th and asked use of force expert witness Judy Steiger if he could make out what George Floyd was saying, and he said he could not. Nelson had played the body cam footage in a bid to show that in the midst of the chaos, things can be missed. The state used a force expert, Jody Stinger, continued his testimony in trial on Wednesday morning. Today, he was questioned by the prosecutor. Steiger told the court that he saw no change of force to the position of Chauvin's feet and knees for the duration of the incident. He pinpointed moments where the officer appeared to be inflicting increased pain. According to Steiger, no force should have been used once George Floyd was prone, handcuffed, and not resisting anymore. So this is basically, you have cops and other officers coming out against George Floyd at this very moment in this Chauvin trial. And basically they're all singing the same notes, right? Basically what Derek Chauvin did to George Floyd was uncalled for. They're all trying to distance them goddamn selves, even though that's their damn buddy, right? They all take part and do this shit. But during this trial, they trying to distance themselves because this looks so bad. So I'm on Derek Chauvin. I agree with Derek Chauvin's attorney on this. That's why we all know we need to reform the police department. That's exactly what you train them to do, right? If that shit didn't get caught on tape and that shit didn't blow up, if Derek Chauvin to be doing that to a black man as we speak, I guarantee it right now today, it'll be another one with him and his knee on his damn neck. And there's no telling how many other times in his career he's done that. That's why he was so casual. And now everybody was like, oh, he was murdered. He was so casual. My take on it is Derek Chauvin was so casual and nonchalant when he had George Floyd pinned to the damn concrete with his knee pressed down on him, is because that's how he normally treated suspects that looked like George Floyd. Right? It was normal to him. Of course, you look how he had his hand in his pocket. It wasn't like, oh, it was so blatant and look at the disrespect and this and that. No, I have evolved on this thinking right now. I just think that it had to do with this is how he normally acts. This is what he normally does to black men. That's why to him in that moment, for them 9 minutes when he was snuffing the life out of George Floyd, he looked relaxed and perfectly normal. You can hear him, they said in the footage, you can hear him telling George Floyd to stop talking now, right? George Floyd's begging, pleading for his life, right? George Floyd's asking him to get up. George Floyd's telling him he'll get in the car. And you can hear Derek Chauvin the whole time just tell him, stop talking, man. He's just sitting there, chilling and relaxing. But this goes to the bigger picture that what happened in that George Floyd trial and what Derek Chauvin did to George Floyd, that's how they behave, period. I've had cops do that same shit to me, except for the only difference is it wasn't that long, right? But I've had cops on me while I'm handcuffed with knees all in my damn back, all in my damn neck, hands on your damn head, on the concrete, right? I've been not only experienced it personally, but I've seen it over and over where I'm from. This is a normal procedure of how these monsters and criminals and cowards and suckers deal with people. Well, the position of power that they find themselves in is not matched for their inferiority. You put a person who's inferior in a position that's not meant for him, you get Derek Chauvins of the world, right? You put in a person who's not meant to be in a position of authority, who's not meant to be in a position of leadership, and you throw that insignificant, incompetent, and sack of shit in that type of position, then you can expect the outcomes to be what happened with Derek Chauvin. He should have never been in a position of authority in the first damn place or a position of leadership. This is why it's important who you choose to lead, who you choose to give authority to. Everybody's not meant for that, right? Everybody has different roles they need to play in life, right? Everybody know that. Play your position. That's a saying we got where I'm from. Hey man, play your position. Play your role, right? You get taught this as young growing up where I'm from. You know what I mean? You need to play your position. You need to play your role. You need to stop trying to do something, trying to be something you're not. Well, anyway, so I don't think that Derek Chauvin was doing anything out of the ordinary. Why he was doing it like he was doing it because it was blatant and he was going to show everybody even in front. No, he was doing it and there was they had the cameras on him. He didn't give a fuck. It was normal to him. He didn't give a fuck about them cameras because this is how he behaved all the time. And if George Floyd didn't blow up the way it did, there's no doubt in my mind that Derek Chauvin will be having, as I'm speaking, I have another black person pinned to the damn ground with his knee on their neck, torturing them. So you go to have to ask yourself, how many people over that long ass period of time you think this man is tortured? It says, jurors heard the portion of the officer Lane's body cam footage in which Chauvin was heard talking to Floyd. As Floyd can be heard saying, "Please, officer," Chauvin's voice can be heard telling him, "Stop talking." The trial of the former Minneapolis police officer Chauvin in the death of Floyd entered into its 8th day today. Chauvin, 45, is charged with the murder and manslaughter after being accused of pinning his knee down on Floyd's neck for more than 9 minutes, as he pleaded not guilty, arguing he did not do anything that he wasn't trained to do. This is his crust of, I told you this on day one because I knew where it was going, right? But this is the crust of his whole defense, is that basically he was following his training. They trained me to be a monster. They trained me to be a killer. They trained me to be a criminal. It's not my fault. And I agree with him. It's not going to be because I agree with Derek Chauvin. I think he should have got charged with murder one, and I think he should do life in prison. Just because I agree with him don't mean that I don't think he shouldn't be charged. This is why this defense don't make no sense to me. Okay, the training was bad. I agree with you. That just means your ass need to get ahead and they get throw away the key, and then we need to come after the police departments in the country. That's next. Don't worry, they next. This is not mutually. This is not like separate. So I agree with Chauvin and his attorney that he was doing exactly what those cowards trained those cowards to do. This is how they trained them to be. So in his mind, he's saying, you can't blame me because I'm following protocol. Well, also you need to be a human goddamn being. And if somebody trains me to do something I know ain't goddamn right, this what makes us different. Unless you a damn dog. Are you a dog, Chauvin? Unless you a damn dog, right? Dogs do what they train to do and don't ask nothing. You tell your dog go sick him, go bite, dog will try to kill whoever. It's time to implement that training and you get into the middle of the action of doing it. Something should click in your goddamn head as a human being and say, whoa, I know this is what we've been trained to do and shit, but this ain't right, right? And ain't nobody train you to put your damn knee on his neck for over 9 minutes, right? So in one aspect, he's true and right. Like that's how they train him. I know that's how they train him because that's the way cops deal with my people all the time. This shit, these white people kill me when they try to act like this some new shit under the sun that's happening to George Floyd. I'm in my 30s, and every time I've dealt with the police, every time I've seen my daddy deal with the police, every time I've seen an uncle or a cousin or a friend, that is the same technique and the same shit I see time and time again. What Derek Chauvin did to George Floyd, except for the fact nobody that I know wound up dying from it. But extended periods of time, face down on the concrete, knees, several officers on top of one person for minutes at a time for no goddamn reason at all, right? You got the person handcuffed, you could put him in the car. I kept saying over and over, why not just put him in the car? I say that growing up in the hood where I'm from, right? When I used to live in the hood, like growing up, like, hey man, why the hell they didn't just put such and such in the car? I don't understand. What are they doing? You see it while it's happening. You say, why I ain't put him in the damn car? That's all you hear in the hood. Get up off him, man. He ain't even resisting no more. This shit, since I was little, right? You hear kids screaming out, get off my mama, get off my daddy. They do it to mothers and daddies. You hear the kids, everybody know. Why are you still on them? They ain't fighting, no resisting. Put them in the damn car. But what I'm saying is, at this point, for white people and these people to try to act like this some isolated incident and they trying to put this shit all on Derek Chauvin is ridiculous and it's just ludicrous. What Derek Chauvin did is what every other white cop across America does. I'm letting you know there's not no shit that I read, not no shit that I'm guessing, not no shit that I seen on TV, some shit that I lived. That shit that Derek Chauvin did to George Floyd, I've had done to me. My brother had it done to him. My damn daddy had it done to him. I've seen females, cousins, chicks had it done to them. This is the way they come into our communities every single day, every single minute, every single hour, and how they behave. So Derek Chauvin, in one sense, is right. This is the way they are trained to do because they don't. The reason that shit happens is because he didn't think he was doing anything wrong because he had been doing it for his whole career. Derek Chauvin is a career criminal. That's what the fuck he is. He's a career criminal. That's what they need to charge him as, a career criminal, right? If you a regular civilian like me and you get hit with a career criminal charge, you getting 25 years to life, right? They consider you a career criminal, meaning you're gone. Derek Chauvin is a career criminal, and there are hundreds of thousands of Derek Chauvins across the country. Hundreds of thousands of them. So to sit here and act like this shit is everybody like, ooh, Derek Chauvin, that's cool. But this is the way these fuckers deal with it. And I just did a story not too long ago where they just was, as the trial's going on there across town, choking out somebody else. The beat goes on. Everybody is criminals. It starts from the top. The whole system is corrupted. You know that it's corrupted because, again, just think about it. If that didn't happen to George Floyd, where he died, let's just say George Floyd made it through that situation, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. Every white person in their living room that looked at that TV, if George Floyd didn't die, would have just went on like, okay, yeah, that looked at a little bad, but whatever. We live with this reality as black folk every day, and as Spanish people every goddamn day. Right. Only if George Floyd wouldn't have died, it wouldn't even made no fuss about the way they treat us. Literally. So everything happens for a reason. I hate that George Floyd had to go, but shit happens for a reason. But again, I'm just going to say, if George Floyd did not die, we wouldn't even be having this discussion. Not even if George Floyd, even if he did die, if he didn't die in the manner in which on live video, just for the whole world to see, even if he did die, but didn't die like that. Let's say if he died at the precinct, even if he was on video, but he didn't die right there on the sidewalk, and they took him into custody and he wound up dying. All this would have changed the dynamic and they would have threw it under the rug. This shit is not, George Floyd, Derek Chauvin is just a symptom of the problem. He's not the actual disease, right? He's just a symptom of the problem. Yeah, so that's my take on this whole shit. Now, I'm gonna tell you something else that was interesting that I looked at and read and came across my eyes today. This is gonna blow your damn mind. Now, you know how everybody keeps talking about, and you got certain police like Derek Chauvin's not guilty. He was doing what he was trained to do. Hey man, you know, it's hard out there being a cop. We gotta make it home to our families. You know, these black people are monsters. Let me tell you how you know this motherfucker guilty. Okay, and this is going, I don't want to have this argument with no more white people, man. I'm tired of having this argument with any white people, man. I'm going to give you a fact on how you 100% know that Derek Chauvin's guilty. I don't understand why this ain't in none of the media outlets or nobody else is talking about this on a regular basis. This is how you know Derek Chauvin is 100% guilty. So any cop that tries to tell you, if you got cops in your family, if you hear these cops that try to take Derek Chauvin's side, this is how you gonna know they criminals also. This was very interesting. I'm gonna pull this article up here. Look at this shit. And we gonna end it after this. I'm gonna talk to the chat for a minute, but we gonna end talking about this shit. But I want to know how many of y'all heard about it. This is why we do politics as usual. This is why you gonna come here and be informed and have the right information. You gonna know what the hell you talking about when you're talking to people. Ain't nobody just gonna be able to come and tell you any damn thing. Look at this shit, man. It says former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin was prepared to plead guilty to a third-degree murder charge of George Floyd's death before Attorney General William Bill Barr personally blocked the plea deal last year. He wanted to plead guilty last year. He know he's guilty. Now he's pleading not guilty because they blocked him from pleading guilty because he was trying to get a plea deal. He was trying to plead out this shit. He know he fucked up. He know what he did was wrong, and he knows that he's a murderer. Right? When they say we go to court and they give us our little bullshit public defenders and they put you against 20 damn years, or you could plead guilty, man. And you know, the judge will have favor on you and you might get probation, but don't tell you that your whole life's gonna be fucked up. But it's all about the DA getting their conviction rate up. So they sacrifice every goddamn body who's black and brown. This motherfucker wanted to plead guilty. So for now, everybody to say and act like he even knows he's guilty. It says the deal would have averted any potential federal charges, including the civil rights offense, as part of the effort to quickly resolve the case and avoid more protests after protests and riots had damaged a swath of South Minneapolis. According to two law enforcement officials with direct knowledge of the talks, the official spoke to the Associated Press on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to discuss it. It says Barr had rejected the deal in part because he felt it was too soon and the investigation into Floyd's death was still in the relative infancy, the official said. So this bitch now, and this how you know anybody who says that he's not guilty is a racist. Even if they don't know they're racist, they're disgusting ass racists. If you find yourself on the side of Derek Chauvin or having some sympathy or like, oh, but he's just training, oh, he's not guilty. Even he know he's guilty. He know he's guilty himself, which just makes you, if you think he's not guilty, you believe he should get away with the murder of George Floyd, you're a racist. You're disgusting. Because even he knows he shouldn't get away with the murder of George Floyd, because just last year, he was begging the Trump administration for a fucking plea deal so he could plead guilty. But he wanted to plead guilty to a lesser charge so he would have to so he could avoid actually, you know, being held accountable and actually getting some real justice for George Floyd, his family, and everybody who looks like him. And on that goddamn note, we gonna end it. I'm done with this whole case. Right? When I found out that this motherfucker tried to plead guilty, what more is there to talk about? He's already admitted his guilt. Let's wrap him up. Wrap him up. It's done. I'm done with him. Wrap him up. All this other shit is just play, right? You got everybody coming out. You got people that work with him. You got his training officers, his supervisors, everybody saying everything he did was wrong. You still got half of the damn, a good large portion of the country behind the scenes still like, yeah, but you know, what are you going to do? Those are the racists. And anybody who's in my chat that thinks Derek Chauvin should not go to jail is a damn racist. So at the end of the day, last year, he tried to take a plea deal and they didn't let him. He was ready to get ahead and cop out because he know he fucked up and what he did was wrong and he murdered George Floyd. So there you go. Them some facts for your ass. This is from the U.S. This is from USA Today and the Associated Press. Behind the scenes on the low, the was trying to plead guilty. So he know he guilty. He know what the fuck he did. I know what he did, and everybody else know what he did. And if you think that he should walk or you don't think he's guilty, it's only because your ass is a racist. And we're done with this case. I'm done with this case. I'm done talking about it. Now we can talk about some other shit. And that's what I think about the whole Derek Chauvin trial. I think the shit just needs, it should be over right now. The only thing we need to know right now, only thing I need to know is what is the justice? What is the punishment gonna be? That's the only thing important. I don't think this is no longer after reading this, there's a question of is he guilty or not. The man tried to plead guilty. He wanted to plead guilty. He was begging for a damn plea deal, meaning that the man knew he was, if that was me or anybody who looked like me, if that was George Floyd, he pled guilty. Even though they know people that look like me and people that's from impoverished communities or lower economic situations are gonna plead guilty because you don't have the money to go to court and fight it. And everybody know better. I grew up knowing better. I've seen too many people in my family. Everybody taught me when I was younger, don't take it to trial. You know not to go to no damn trial. You can't take the risk. You can't take the risk to go to trial, right? So they're going to give you a plea deal because they're going to say, well, if you go to trial and you lose, you're going to go for 15 years. So we give you this plea deal, you get a 2 to 5. Of course you're going to take the plea. Even if you're innocent, you're going to take the plea. When you look like me, not when you got this jackass who's got some of the best defense in the country, right? You got the police union paying for his lawyer. He ain't want none of it. Good lawyer, nothing. He want to plead guilty. He done. So at the end of the day, man, ain't nobody gonna talk about that though. Like, you're not gonna go on Fox News and see that. Oh, damn, Derek Chauvin tried to take a plea deal and pled guilty last year, and they denied him. He put in a guilty plea. So again, even he know he's guilty. So I would take that information. Every juror should be able to see that and say this shit is over. All the rest of this shit is for play. Oh, you wanted to plead you guilty? You wanted to plead guilty, bro? Good. Made our job easy. Yeah, this is what we do, politics. You ain't gonna hear this shit nowhere else. Ain't nobody gonna give you these facts.